Well, hello and welcome to another Happy Paws Sunday Afternoon Chat. I am delighted to be joined this week by Jo, and we're going to introduce Jo and her kids in a few minutes. But before I do, may I ask people to please like, subscribe, and share this video. And also, please remember that the reason why we started these Sunday afternoon chats is because we have launched our Happy Paws 10th anniversary legacy appeal. So if you'd like to support our work and give a donation to the appeal, the link will be in the description box below. So hello, Jo.
Hello.
And welcome to our Sunday afternoon chat. Um, could you please introduce us to your kids sitting near you?
Okay, so this here is Murphy. He's a Springer Spaniel. This is Bessie, she's also known as Princess, our Cocker Spaniel. And over to my left, he's laying down at the moment, is Dougal, and he's our Golden Retriever cross.
Well, they are perfect little kids for our subject today, which is breaking the myth. It's not just golden retrievers. I think most people think when they think of Happy Paws, think about golden retrievers. And you and I have both had golden retrievers from Happy Paws. There is a golden retriever not with you anymore, Sasha.
Yep.
You lost
He's
Sasha last year?
September we lost Sasha. So that's our Sasha.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He was such a lovely boy, wasn't he?
He was. He was an absolutely beautiful, kind, gentle, everything a golden retriever is. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful boy. We lost him when he was 8, sadly. He'd been
Um,
poorly for a while.
and
He'd been poorly for a while, so yeah.
I think when it's their time, they tell you, don't they?
Yeah.
So
So
I had Jake, and we got Jake in 2018. We had him for 5 years, and he passed in October, just a month after Sasha. So I remember your beautiful post and your lovely kind words about Sasha. And then I couldn't believe that a month later I was writing a similar post that we'd lost Jake. But he was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy 2 years before. So he was a miracle that he lasted that long, and we're so pleased. Hello, Princess. I know why you're called Princess. Do you like the camera?
I think she likes the treats that are at the side of the camera more. She knows they're there. Despite the one eye, she has very good vision.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she does. And a great nose. So, who was your actual first Happy Paws dog?
So we got Murphy in 2018, and prior to that, we'd had other dogs. We'd had 3 other rescue dogs, and we had two dogs that we had from puppies. And one of them was a golden retriever, and one of them was a Springer Spaniel. We later rescued another Springer Spaniel and 2 pugs. And Ozzy, who was one of our Springer Spaniels, he had a brain tumour, and we had to let him go. And Kess, who was my golden retriever, was stuck to Ozzy's side constantly, and he missed him so terribly. Um, at the time, we had the 2 pugs who were rescues, and they weren't particularly fond of Kess. So Kess was quite lonely, so I had met Lisa a few years prior, and I knew she had Happy Paws. So I asked her if she could find me a golden retriever. So Kess had some company, and actually, she got that was in the April we lost Ozzy, and then in the May we decided to get company for Kess. And I was at work one day, and she sent me a message, and she said, "I found you the perfect dog." And I was like, "Oh, good." And up popped a picture of Murphy, a Springer Spaniel. And I was, wow, fell in love with him straight away, actually burst into tears. And my poor staff didn't quite know what to do with themselves, because they were saying, "Oh, Joe's crying, what's wrong?" And I was waving this picture off my phone of Murphy at them. And my friend said to me, she said, I think Ozzy's found you a new friend for Kess. It was almost like, we hadn't asked for any other dog, but she had found Murphy. So, yeah, we took Murphy.
And that was 2018.
It was in 2018. I believe Lisa had gone to the pound to actually rescue a golden retriever called Leo. And while she was there, she could hear this noise coming from the pen next door, which was actually Murphy. Murphy can't bark, he makes a very loud, high pitched trilling noise. Which anyone who knows Murphy back in Turkey would know that Murphy makes this very funny noise. And he was almost pushing under. There was a gap in the fence, and he was almost pushing under as if to say, "Please take me too." Um, and Lisa took some photos, which I've got, of him actually trying to get under the fence to go with Leo and her. So Lisa actually had to come back and get Murphy the next day, and she took Murphy and then she offered him to us.
Oh, how lovely. Let's have a look at Murphy's little face again, because we seem to have lost
Murphy,
him. So how
he's
old do you
very
think
shy, Murphy.
how old do you think he is?
Well, Lisa thought he was about 5 when we got him, so we took it. He was around about 5, but our vet actually thinks he's so that would make him about 10 now. But actually, our vet thinks he's a bit older than that. They think he's about 12. He's recently had 23 teeth removed
My goodness.
because 23 teeth. We didn't. We thought we was going to lose him purely because his teeth were so bad, and none of the vets wanted to operate on him. But luckily, a vet did operate on him, and he's back to his usual lazy self. And he just likes his creature comforts and likes to sleep a lot. He always has done. We always say that he probably had such a hard life in Turkey. He's now having a nice, relaxing life here in the UK.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. Look, I've just got into the world of spaniels, and they are such lovely, lovely dogs.
They're
Lovely
so
dogs.
much fun.
And then who was your next one, Joe?
So our next one came in 2018, and that was Sasha. We saw Sasha on the Facebook page, and I do love golden retrievers. I've loved them since I was a child, and we'd been on the Facebook page just looking, and Lisa didn't have a home for Sasha. He could come to the UK, but there wasn't actually a home waiting for him. And I said to Craig, my partner, I said, "Oh my God, look at this lovely golden retriever." And he was a giant, Sasha was. He was a big boy. And we got in touch with Lisa and we said to her, "Look, we'll take Sasha if there isn't a home for him." And she said, "Well, okay, you can reapply for another dog," which we did. And we picked Sasha up the following August after getting Murphy. And he came to live with us. And he was just a gentle giant. He had the most beautiful tail that resembled pampas grass. Um, and he was just the most softest, gentlest boy ever. Um, I've I've never ever known a golden retriever to be as soft and gentle and loving as he was. He was just a perfect boy. We always say he was 100% perfection
Oh
because
my
he
goodness.
was just perfect. He had beautiful manners. He was just a lovely, lovely boy.
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely to hear. Really lovely to hear. Oh, we will never forget our Jakey. We will never forget our Jakey. We will miss him forever. In fact, my husband said, I don't think I could have another golden retriever because he was just the perfect golden retriever for us.
Perfect fishing companion as well for your husband.
Did he went fishing every week with my husband. Something that my little Princess Layla over there will probably never do. I don't know if you can see her fast asleep in her bed. Um, she doesn't mind the rain, but she doesn't stand in puddles or anything like that.
Yes. Funny enough, I have a princess like that as well. Doesn't like the rain, doesn't like puddles.
That's right. So you're after Sasha then, who was the next one then?
Well, our next one was Bessie. also known as Princess, she came to us. She was actually a lottery girl, and Lisa had found her in a pound with one of her eyes was actually very badly damaged, and Lisa took her from the pound and brought her to the Happy Paws, and they operated on Bessie and removed the eye, and of course funds needed to be raised for this operation, and she I remember posting on my own Facebook page for my friends to see, saying, this poor dog, she really needs this operation. And I never thought for 1 minute she'd end up as my dog. We weren't particularly looking for a dog at the time, but one of our pugs had become quite poorly, and he actually also had a brain tumour, and we had to have him put to sleep. So we kind of lost him, and Frank, who was our other pug, didn't really have a companion. So we wanted a small dog, and Bessie appeared. So we got in touch with Lisa, and we just said, look, we're looking for a smaller dog. Have you got any dog available? And Princess Bessie was available. And she came to us on the 29th of February in 2020, just before lockdown. And on the same day that my golden retriever, Kess, was having emergency surgery. So I was kind of trying to get from Kent to Eastbourne to pick up Bessie. While Kess was having quite a major surgery. Luckily, Mick was very kind enough to drop her at the Folkestone Services, which isn't far from Dover. So I was able to pick her up from there. But she made quite an entrance when she came to us. So.
And is she really a princess?
Oh my God, she's an absolute diva. I went with my son to pick her up, and I picked her up, and she's a very barky dog. Bessie is. She's quite frightened of other people. She obviously hadn't met me at the time. Mick had a schedule to keep to, so I took Bessie, and I put her in the back of the car with my son, who was probably about 18 at the time. Great big 6'4" strapping lad sitting in the back. Ended up in the corner at the back of the car because Bessie was grumbling at him the whole way home. But she wasn't too happy. She kind of come here into the house. She put all the other dogs in their place, got up in the chair, made herself comfortable. And she also had a little habit that she'd picked up from Auntie Scotty back in Turkey, who was her foster mum, and Scotty had really looked after Bessie because Bessie came to her, quite frightened, etc. But we found when we went to bed that night, Craig and I, we were just dropping off to sleep, and somebody put herself under the duvet. We had to take her out, and after about 2 hours of taking her out from underneath the duvet, every time we tried to go to sleep, we just let her get under the duvet and sleep at the bottom of the bed. It transpired that Scotty had allowed her to sleep on the bed with her, but this one thought it would be more fun to actually sleep under the duvet with her new parents. So she doesn't do it so much now. She kind of sleeps on the bottom of the bed, but she does think she's entitled to do whatever she pleases. But she is a very good girl, very well behaved.
She looks ever so, she's beautiful, but she always looks precocious to me. She always looks like she knows exactly what's going on.
She does. She does. And the thing is with her, if she likes you, she'll be your best friend and that, but she still is very, very scared of other people. She does tend to bark a lot at people when we're out on a walk, but as soon as anybody gets near her, she shakes, she wets herself. Um, you know, she may come across as being this really ferocious little thing, but she's actually terrified still of people, despite socializing her. It's just going to be an issue with her.
I think that's one of the things about getting a rescue, we don't know their true past. We know
No.
from the moment they've been rescued, we know their story, but we don't know what's gone on. For Layla, she's very confident outside. She's amazing with other dogs. She's amazing with people outside, but actually inside, she's more nervous with
Yeah.
strangers. And she was found locked in a shed.
Oh,
And she wet herself when they came to rescue her. And I think she feels very vulnerable inside.
yeah.
But when she's outside, she's a confident little madam and has really no issues at all. It must be that being rescued, that getting that freedom to be outside, she just loves it and she's happy. But when she's inside, she gets a little bit nervous of strangers. She doesn't like that. Unless there's a biscuit or two around, of course.
Course. She she's not keen on it appears to be older ladies, especially if their hair's of a certain shade of grey. She's absolutely terrified. I mean, my mum, she's not keen on my mum whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, she'll take treats from my dad, but she'll run off. She won't sit and take them and sit there. She'll run off afterwards. She does bark continuously at my mum and shake. She's, she's not 100% with my mum either. She's quite frightened of my mum. And my mum, of course, is very gentle. My mum's got her own dogs. Um, my mum isn't a big, tall person. She's quite small. So she's not sort of an overbearing figure in any way. And she's the same with one of our veterinary nurses as well. She is absolutely petrified of her. Um, she, whenever you take her into the vets, I have to take her now on days where this particular vet nurse isn't on duty because we can't get her through the door.
See, we just don't know what memory is being triggered by the color of someone's hair, the way they stand, the way they sit.
Yeah.
We just will never know. But luckily, she adores you.
Oh, she does. She's a bit like glue. This one, you can't go anywhere without her there. Um, you can't sit down and read a book, for example, because before you've even opened the book, she is on your lap in your face. She just loves attention, and the people who she really trusts and loves, she just utterly adores. She adores her dad, like Craig, my partner. She adores her human brothers, my sons Tom and Sam, who are both grown adults. She absolutely adores them. Um, and she adores her doggy brothers as well. Um, it's just other people she's funny with. She quite likes the groomer. She likes a grooming lady, but then I think the grooming lady feeds her so many treats while she's in there that Bessie's more than happy to go in there. To be
Yeah,
fair,
yeah. There is a way to a spaniel's heart,
yeah,
definitely,
exactly.
definitely. And then your fourth Happy Paws dog then is lovely Dougal,
Our
which
baby Google.
who we can't see at the moment, but he is
No,
there on the sofa with you,
he's
isn't
there.
he?
Every now and again, he pops his head up. So,
Well, Murphy just popped his head up. I just saw
yeah,
Murphy's snout.
yeah,
So,
because I've just got some treats. Okay.
so Murphy's not a retriever. So Dougal's not a retriever, not a
No.
spaniel. What is Dougal?
Well, we believe he's a golden retriever cross. So Dougal was another dog that kind of appeared on the Facebook page with no home to go to, and I think Lisa deliberately puts those posts up because she knows that we look, and then she knows that we go, oh, they're so lovely. So Dougal was found on a rubbish tip with a golden retriever called Sophie, which we believe could possibly be his mum. He was quite young when he was found. They were very connected as well. They were both, Sophie was very protective of him. Um, they went into foster care together originally, and then they were separated when Dougal was a bit older. But he again appeared on Facebook on the Golden Retriever page, as we call it, which is the Happy Paws page, with no home to go to but can travel. So I saw him, so did my partner, but my partner was at work and I was at home. And I texted him, I said, oh, have you seen that scruffy little dog? Because he was very scruffy at the time. that scruffy little dog. I said, he's so cute. And Craig was like, we're not getting any more dogs. I said, okay. And then Craig a bit later on said, oh, he's very cute, isn't he? So, yeah, we ended up adopting Dougal as well. So, and Dougal is, we say he's 100% golden retriever because he learned so well from Sasha. He learned all Sasha's manners. He learned, yeah, he learned a lot from Sasha. Missed him terribly when Sasha died, um, really quite badly because Murph's quite a solitary dog and kind of keeps himself to himself. Whereas Sasha was a very friendly dog with all the dogs, you know. I think Dougal felt a little bit lost, but him and Murphy have got a very good relationship now. He's learned to cross his paws when he lays down. There's lots of pictures of Murphy that I've got on my Facebook page with his gentleman's pose where he sits upright and then just crosses his legs over. And Dougal does the same now. So him and Murphy are quite close. So yeah, he's an absolute joy. I picked him up in December um, with my friend. Drove down to Eastbourne and picked him up, and yeah, he's been very good actually, very settled. The only thing he doesn't like is loud banging noises.
Oh, really?
If the door, for example, if we've got the back door open, one of our doors indoors slams, he'd be down the bottom of the garden for hours before he'd come back in again. He does not like any loud bangs whatsoever, which is, you know, it can't be helped sometimes, especially if you've got the back door open for them to go in and out of the garden and the wind catches the doors that are inside. Um, yeah, they only have to bang and that's it. He's gone down the bottom of the garden and he won't come in for a long time.
Again, you just never know what's triggering that. You will never know. Never know. Speaking of garden, though, you have a lovely Instagram page about your garden, and the dogs do spend time with you in your garden, don't they?
And anyone that does go on the page, if they look at the top, there's an About Me section, which I speak about the dogs and the reason why I love them in the garden so much. Um, because Sasha was an expert gardener. He loved the garden. I spend hours in my garden and I can be down there for 7 or 8 hours sometimes on my days off. And he just loved being there. He would sniff any flowers that were there. He was he liked the occasional strawberry, but he was quite a calm dog anyway. But he always was just that bit more relaxed after being in the garden. And then Princess has always come in the garden. She can be a bit of a pest. She does help herself to stuff frequently. Don't have many soft fruits left. But yeah, she likes the garden. But Dougal started coming in just after Sasha died. He'd never really been in there before. He When he first came, he did have a game of chase with Murphy across all of my pots and just squashed everything in sight. But he hadn't really shown an interest in the garden. But he comes down there quite a bit now. He's in there more than Bessie probably is. But he's very I think, you know, they've probably never experienced the peacefulness of the garden. We're lucky we live in the countryside. It is very quiet where we are, but there's lots of green and lots of birds singing and lots of shade. Although Dougal does like a greenhouse and will quite happily lay in the greenhouse all day. But he, you know, it's just peaceful and tranquil for them as well as me, and I think that's really nice for the dogs purely because you know they've probably never experienced anything like that before back in Turkey. So they do feature quite a bit on my gardening page.
And I will leave the link of your gardening page in the box below because there are not just the dogs, but there are beautiful plants down there as well. I know you're very proud of it. And I think you're right, because you're calm in the garden, they're calm in the garden.
Bessie's quite a Bessie. Well, as you probably know, you've got a cocker spaniel yourself. They can be quite excitable dogs at times and enjoy the zoomies. Um, and you know she could be zooming round and round the garden or around the house or whatever. But as soon as she comes into the garden, she's very good actually. She has a sniff round, she relaxes, she sits down, you know, she might get up and follow me about or wait for me to move away from the strawberries, and then she kind of goes over and helps herself. But she comes in and she's quite calm. And I just think, you know, people go on about mental health for humans, with gardening or green therapy being quite therapeutic, but I think it's just equally as good for animals as well.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. As I said, Layla loves to be outside. She just loves that freedom of being outside. And in a couple of weeks' time, we will be in Kent on a beach for the very first time on holiday. And I can't wait to let her off the lead and just let her enjoy
Yeah.
a beach and that freedom. I just can't wait for that experience. So far, we haven't had it.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky where I live. I live in Deal, which is on the East Kent coast. I live in a village just outside of Deal, so we've got the beach, literally 10-minute drive from the house. It's somewhere that Bessie can go early morning, and I'm talking 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning when there's hardly anybody out. And luckily, I get up around that time anyway. She quite likes it down there. It's too far for Murph to walk now because Murph is getting on a bit and he's got a bit of arthritis in his legs. And to do a big walk is not an option for Murph now. But Dougal, I take quite frequently. I sometimes walk with a couple of friends, and Dougal comes along, and Dougal loves it. He loves to be on the beach. So yeah, it's a blue space, a blue therapeutic space for them as well.
Oh. That's so lovely. Well, Joe, thank you so much for introducing us to all your kids. It is so lovely to see them together. I know you've lost Sasha, but he will always be in your heart as Jake will be in ours. And I'm really grateful to you for chatting to us because we are known as a golden retriever charity. We are known that. We
Yeah,
talk about our golden kids all the time, but ultimately, Lisa is happy to rescue family dogs,
yeah,
not street dogs, which we discussed last week. We have
yeah,
programs for the street dogs, spay and neuter programs, feeding programs, so flea and tick programs, because they're comfortable on the street. But dogs like yours and like mine do not survive on the streets. And that's when Lisa sees a Springer or a Cocker or a perhaps Golden Retriever mix. She makes sure that she swoops them up and puts them on the Facebook page to see if anybody would like them. And you can see what a lovely life they have. Also, on your very famous sofa, everybody's always jealous of your sofa with that gorgeous rug.
My golden retriever rug was actually, I went to, there's a golden retriever, Kent and East Sussex group on Facebook, if anyone's in the area. It's run by a lady called Teresa Scoocher. And actually, that's where I first met Lisa many years ago. And there used to be a golden retriever meetup every year in Tunbridge, and they had an auction. And that auction actually was for this blanket. I paid a lot of money for this blanket, probably much more money than I should have done, but I love it. I've had it. I had it when I had Kess, so and that was long before I was rescuing through Happy Paws. So I probably had this a good 10, 12 years now, but I love my golden retriever blanket. It takes pride of place on the dog settee now.
I mean, I've seen like all the dogs up there for Christmas and all that sort of stuff. They're always up there, aren't they?
Yeah, there is a little bit of a hole in the bottom of it now. In fact, Murphy got up here the other day, and poor old Murph, where he's getting on, he's deaf. He's got cataracts as well. He managed to get his head stuck in the hole. I was just sort of sat there looking at us. We couldn't quite understand what was wrong, but we then realised that he'd actually got his head caught through the hole, so he couldn't
That's it.
work out how to get himself out. It was
He
quite a
doesn't
big hole.
bark, does he? You said he didn't bark.
No, he doesn't bark. That's the thing. He just makes it. If he sees another dog, is when you hear him make a sound. But he certainly didn't bark to tell us that his head was stuck. So yeah,
Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you, Joe. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Murphy, Princess Bessie, and Dougal. And thank you to everybody for watching another one of our chats. If you would like to help us rescue more dogs like Sasha, Murphy, Bessie, Dougal, and Layla, who's now actually under my feet at the moment. She's no longer in her bed, she's sitting on my foot. Please, please, please consider giving a donation to our Happy Paws 10th anniversary legacy appeal. That's the only way that we'll be able to continue to rescue dogs long into the future and giving them the wonderful lives that they have with you, Joe, and they can spend more lives with people in their gardens as well. Thank you so much.
You're
Bye bye,
welcome. Thank
everyone.
you. See you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.